ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदातं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. The nectar of thy words revives the scorched spirit of human beings. They purify the sinner and are the life of the holy. To hear them itself is auspicious and peace generating. They are the real givers who spread thy name far and wide. With this Mangala Charan, or the opening verse uh, from Gopi Gita of the Bhagavatam. So we begin today's scripture class, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever is said in this is actually in the Gospel. So it is life of the holy. Means those who are pure, for them it is life. Without this, without such message, they cannot live. And for sinners who are yet to purify their heart, who are yet to become saintly and holy, for them it removes all their scars, all their suffering and impurity. So that is the power. After removing the impurity, it is not to be given up. Then you cannot give up when your impurity is gone. This message of, like the scriptures, they will be with you and become the very life. So it's for everyone essential part. And those who spread the message of the scriptures, they are the real givers, real sustainers of society by giving something that enters the soul. Some gifts are like the food which nourishes body. Some are like skills and teaching which makes your intellect stronger or makes something to the mind. But that the food of soul is the message of the divinity, and that is the scriptures, message of the scriptures. Those who recount that, those who can, first it has to enter, listen carefully, enter, enjoy, and then you spread that, talk about that. If we fill ourselves with the message of the scriptures, that will actually come out. When Subodh, who later becomes Swami Subodhananda, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, an apostle of Sri Ramakrishna, he went to Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna said, go to him, the recorder of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And he said, why I have to go to him? I've come to you to learn the spirituality, to learn the ways of making myself, transforming myself. Why are you sending me to a householder who has a lot of problems of life? So Sri Ramakrishna, what he said is very profound. He said, go there. He will give you and speak you whatever came from here. All that has come from here. He talk only about that. He will give what he has filled himself with, and that is the message of Sri Ramakrishna. So that's how the meaning of that. They are the real givers who spread thy message far and wide. So for that to spread the message, we have to be full of the message of the scriptures. And the scriptures, as they said, our Swami Ishat Pananji says the gospel as the Panchama Veda. In fact, traditionally Mahabharata is called the Panchama Veda. Swami Premesananji called this this gospel of Sri Ramakrishna or Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita as the Panchama Veda. Or in fact, the essence of all the Vedas. It's not that one another Veda complementary to the remaining Veda or supplementary to the remaining four Vedas. It is in fact the essence of the Vedas, like the Gita. Swami Premesanandaji, a direct disciple of Holy Mother and very renowned monk who lived and with the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, he used to say that if you want to know Gita, the meaning of Gita, and essence of Gita, you want to understand in Bengali, read the Ramakrishna Kathamrita. That's the Bengali version of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the original writing by Mahendranath Gupta. So today we are in the chapter M at Dakshineshwar, part 1, page 359. It is the second paragraph. So Sri Ramakrishna is talking about the incarnation of God. It is God alone who incarnates himself as man to teach people the ways of love and knowledge. Then he continues. This is why incarnations come. It is in the Gita also. You'll find the echo. Sri Krishna also said that for the to establish the dharma and to protect the good and to destroy the evil. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I come forth from ages to ages, in every age. Time and again I come forth, the divine being is speaking, the Sri Bhagavan is speaking, that what is the purpose? To make the world better by removing the evil, protecting the good, and the main is for establishing the dharma, re-establishing the dharma. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya, said Swami Vivekananda to Sri Ramakrishna. And Krishna said, dharma samsthapanarthaya. And what Sri Ramakrishna says? He says, God himself as a man to teach people the ways of love and knowledge. So people tend to forget in the course of time what is real love and what is knowledge. So love, when you say love for whom? Love for God, definitely. But when love for God is developed, God is not seen only in some idol, statue, photograph, image, or imagination. God then becomes immanent everywhere. And that love which began to develop towards a particular form, particular deity, it becomes spread to all whole universe. So that is the real love. You feel connected with everyone, and if the God seems to be present in everyone, the man becomes the person, human being, as the love develops, that becomes very soft and sweet. So to love, and that love comes through the knowledge, and love and knowledge, they all are that is the purpose of the advent of God as incarnation. What about paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam? Krishna said, Sri Ramakrishna is not referring anything. We know that he also did destroy the evil, but he didn't destroy the evil persons, but he destroyed the evil in the heart of persons. So it was very subtle work of destroying the evil, not the person itself. That Ravanatva of Ravana, Kamsatva of Kamsa, and evils hidden in the heart of human beings, those are all destroyed. In one of the verses, Swami Vivekananda himself says that what did Sri Ramakrishna destroy? He destroyed Rakshasa. Where are Rakshasa? Yes, there is one Rakshasa, very strong form, it remains in us. And what is that Rakshasa? It is Samsaya. Samsaya Nama Rakshasa Mahastram, that he killed the samsaya or doubt in the hearts of human being, doubt for reality beyond this created universe, doubt for the existence of God. That was so much developing, and Sri Ramakrishna just destroyed the doubt by giving the proof of the existence of God through his own life, through his own experiment, through his words. So after Sri Ramakrishna, if we really understand, read him, so there should be no doubt about the existence of God. So he destroyed the Rakshasa of Samshaya about the existence of God. So re-established God, re-established the message of God, re-established Dharma, and granted that knowledge and love. That is the purpose of incarnation of God, Sri Ramakrishna beautifully says. And he says, well, what do you think of me? Very profound question. M is going to present to the world the message of Sri Ramakrishna. It was assigned for M. So many ways we know from the life of Sri Ramakrishna, many others tried to note it down. He said, no, it's not for you. But M, he would ask, what did I say that dear? And he said, you said this. He said, no, no, not that. He is to correct. He was in full knowledge that M is going to present the message of Sri Ramakrishna to the world forever, like Bhagavatam by the Vyasa. So like that, here he says, well, what do you think of me? How much he understands Sri Ramakrishna, whether Sri Ramakrishna is a saintly person or a great yogi or a lover of Mother Kali or a very simple boy like simple a childlike person. All this is there. But what is the essence of Sri Ramakrishna? Well, what do you think of me? M needs to know the Swarupa of Sri Ramakrishna, that he is God incarnate. Without that, he will not be able to present Sri Ramakrishna hiding himself without interpreting anything of what Sri Ramakrishna said, knowing it to be the words of God, like the Vedas. So he would not be able to understand without understanding Sri Ramakrishna, he would not be able to say. That's why he says the question in 1883, after 2 years after he came in February 1882, and now it's 1883, almost 2 years, December 1883. So he asked, well, what do you think of me? Before Yam would say, would not divulge what he understands, but he has now understood it too. Yes, who Sri Ramakrishna is. Before that, we understood, has God come in the form of my Guru, Sri Ramakrishna? Is God incarnate himself? Is he teaching this to me? What does he mean? So that was already Mananam was going on in the mind of Sri Ram, M, that Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. It is in Bhakti also. You listen something, then Manana, you think whether it is God incarnate, whether it is my Ishta, whether it is my real Guru, whether it is my Guru for eternity, like that the question was going on. And that he expressed in the gospel also. And here, without waiting for to have the answer of M, Sri Ramakrishna knows M is slowly understanding who Sri Ramakrishna is Sri Ramakrishna gives some example of the extraordinariness of himself, his embodiment. He is not an ordinary person. And what is the example? One is, once my father went to Goa. There Raghuvir said to him in a dream, I shall be born as your son. Thereupon my father said to him, O Lord, I am a poor Brahmin. How shall I be able to serve you? Don't worry about it, Raghubir replied. It will be taken care of. So, very birth of Sri Ramakrishna is divine, and it comes through the dream of uh, Sri Ramakrishna's father in Gaya, where he had gone to pray and worship Gadadhar in Gaya, the Vishnu. Here Sri Ramakrishna says Raghubir instead of saying Vishnu. That's why the name of Sri Ramakrishna Gadadhar came. Because of the blessing of the Vishnu, the Gadadhar, Shankachakra Gadadhar, Shankachakra Gada Padmadhari, and that is the four arms, and he holds these four things, articles in his hand. That's why the Vishnu is called often Gadadhar, Chakradhar, like that. So here he says, Raghuvir said, Raghuvir has the meaning because Raghuvir is the Ishta of that Khudiram, Sri Ramakrishna's father, family deity of Sri Ramakrishna's father. Raghubir is the Rama's name. It's a Rama, Raghubir. So, and there was the darshan of Vishnu, he showed him. But Raghubir is Rama, is incarnation of Vishnu. Raghubir, Krishna, and Rama and Narayana, Vishnu are not separate, they are all one. When he said Raghubir showed him in the dream, he might have shown in four arms Narayana, or he saw his own Ishta. Generally, we have the Ishta, but know that Ishta is same with from which incarnation it is. All incarnations are said to be the incarnation of Vishnu. As our Tulsidas also said, Srinathe Janaki Nathe Abheda Paramatmani. He also said that the Srinatha, the Lord of Sri, the Lord of Sri is Vishnu. And Janaki Natha, Lord of Janaki, Sitapati is Rama. Aveda Paramatmani, they are Paramatman, they are Ishvara, they are non separable. That idea, Raghubir comes here. Though in the books we read, he had the dream of Vishnu, he had gone to Vishnu. And also, if he had the dream of Raghubir, it is the same Vishnu. Because he used to meditate on Raghubir. Raghubir was the Ishta of Khudiram. So it is the same thing, having the dream of, in some books you'll find he had the dream of Gadadhar. And in some, here he himself says he had a dream of Raghubir. My sister, Hridaya's mother, used to worship my feet with flowers and sandal paste. Who worships one's relative with flowers and sandal paste? They often ask him to help. They say, my nephew is my brother, my cousin is a very nice person. He is a wonderful, saintly, sweet person. But who worships? So somehow she has the idea of worshipping with flour and sandal paste. And if someone wants to worship someone's feet with flour and sandal paste, does anyone agree? They say, no, no, why are you worshipping? Are you getting mad that you are worshipping me? I am your brother. Why will you worship me? But Sri Ramakrishna, as a kid, as a boy, he accepts the worship by the mother of Hridaya of worship through by offering flower and billa leaves. So that is what he had the idea that he is incarnation that time itself. So that one, all he says that people have recognized him as different, as incarnation, as something divine from many long time in the village people. And there is the story of a Rasik method, and there is Sakari. There's the story of Sakari, who used to make the conch shell articles in Kamarpukur village. He worshipped Sri Ramakrishna and said, please give me knowledge and see that I get liberation. Sakhari just used to make unlettered person, illiterate person, but he had that idea that he is God, that somehow God gives that idea, somehow that divinity just could be felt by, there's no need of learning all the Vedas. You are master of the Vedas and you have learned Sanskrit and you have read Bhagavatam, Gita and all Puranas and the Upanishads, then only you will understand who is incarnation or who is not incarnation. No, that does not happen. The more you read, more chance of getting confusion. More you read Upanishad, more you will say, no, there is no incarnation. Incarnation is just the idea of Dvaita. Reality is Advaita. There is no two. It is formless. It is all Brahma. It is all Mithya. It is all Maya. So there is no question of all the idea of incarnation is gone. You will not be able to recognize, or even you are told, I am incarnation, God says, then say, no, you are a human being. God is formless, so we don't accept incarnation. So more may disturb our mind, more cobwebs may come, but simple, this Chinu Shakhari, or simple unlettered mother of Hridaya, Sri Ramakrishna's relative sister by relation, so they recognized him, divinity of Sri Ramakrishna. One day I placed my foot on her head and said to her, you will die in Benares. Imagine someone relative saying and giving such a great blessing, you will die in Benares means what? You will attain liberation, no more birth for you, Jivan Mukti, this Mukti, that sadhana, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, you get somehow liberation. Here is Sri Ramakrishna just blessing this lady who has not read any shastras and saying you will die in Benares, means you will attain Mukti. She understood Sri Ramakrishna and also has the grace of God, grace of the divine incarnation, and attains Mukti in that life by giving up her body in Benares. Once, Mathur Babu said to me, Sri Ramakrishna collects all this. What people, how did they understand? Mathur Babu was a zamindar, always looking after the lawsuit and the problems in his land. He was a landholder in that zamindar, as they say. He said to me, Father, there is nothing inside you but God. He also could understand, he could feel that your body is like an empty shell. It may look from outside like a pumpkin, but inside there is nothing, neither flesh nor seed. Once I saw you as someone moving with a veil on. So the body outside is all like a veil. Inside is the real person. That is God. That is incarnation. That is the soul of Sri Ramakrishna. And he gives the another example. There is nothing inside you. There is no ego inside you. All is filled with divinity. All is Mother Kali. Sri Ramakrishna also sometimes said to him, you see, I try to find ego, I sense, but I don't see I anywhere. Mathur said, there is nothing but Mother Kali inside you. And he said, like a pumpkin, and gives the example. This is the pumpkin. Inside, outer shell is there. Inside, nothing. No seed, no flesh, nothing. Empty without even breaking. That, like that, is your body is there, but there is no ego and the worldliness and the whatever makes samsara is not there. It is pure, untainted. There is no blemish. That divinity is there, fills you, oh Father. That used to say Baba. And you are like a curtain moving. Inside someone is there. All outside is the curtain. So pumpkin shell, curtain, and finding nothing inside. All these are the examples that he gives to Sri Ramakrishna as you are divine. Divinity fills you. What you look from outside as a human being is not your true nature. That it just seems you are in fact divine. Mathur said this. Mathur understood this, that Sri Ramakrishna relates to him. He doesn't say, but he wants him to understand through these indications who Sri Ramakrishna is in his real nature. Without any doubt, him should understand. To him, I am shown everything beforehand. Once I saw Gauranga and his devotees singing kirtan in the Panchavati. So he was in Panchavati and he saw the the group of the singers or procession of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He used to lead during when he was there in 15th century. He used to lead the procession of Kirtan. He used to be in front, Chaitanya, Nityananda and himself, and people, devotees would be behind and said Hari Bol, Hari Bol. They used to say and sing and go around the village of town of Navadvip. That he used to do. And Sri Ramakrishna had the vision of that when he was there. And this, where did he see this? He saw the procession of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to Panchavati in Dakshineshwar. He saw there. And what he saw there, he remembers exactly whom he saw. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, of course. And he said, I think I saw Balaram there. Balaram was another devotee. He was a Krishna Bhakta, and his whole he was also a zamindar and landlord. So he was very devoted to Krishna and follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, I think I saw Balaram there, and also I saw you. So Sri Ramakrishna recognizes him. Now he says, you see, let us see. I wanted to know the experience of Gauranga and was shown them at Shyam Bazar in our native district. So Gauranga is to sing song and is to be, overwhelmed with the singing of God's name, always like immersed in that, having three states of mind, Bhajya Dosha, Antarbhajya Dosha, and Antardosha. That's what he said. Sometimes he used to sing the glory, sometimes he used to be in meditation, and sometimes he used to be in absolute deep absorption. So that's called Antardosha. When he used to be remembering and in meditation, in power, that is called Antarbhajya Dosha. And when he was singing the glory of God, it's called Bhajya Dosha, external, aware of external world and singing, enjoying the glory of God. So he wanted, Sri Ramakrishna wanted to have that. Sri Ramakrishna has no end of having the experience. You see, after so much of experiencing God through so many ways, all 64 Vaishnava Tantras and the Rama, he worshipped Hanuman and saw Rama and saw Sita, and also Mother Kali, of course, in the beginning that starts. Then he saw Krishna worshipping him as Sita, as worshipping, sorry, as Radha. And like that, he has no end of experiencing God through many ways. Now he wants to have the experience how Chaitanya felt. And it happened really like Chaitanya's thing. So where it happened? It happened in Shambazar near native district. Still that village is there. It's called Fului Shambazar, near Jairambati, Kamarpukur, that area. So there, what happened in our native district? A crowd gathered. They even climbed the trees and the walls. So much of attraction of the singing. The crowd was so much of crowd. They would climb up and started having enjoying the kirtan that was going on the street of the village, on the road of the village. They stayed with me day and night. So Sri Ramakrishna used to sing day and night, and day used to pass into night, night into day. Singing was going on, no time for anything else. That type of experience, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had, Sri Ramakrishna also went through that. And how long it happened? For 7 days. I had no privacy whatever. Crowd will not leave. Crowd, some people will come, will be with the songs and then leave, go for food or go for sleep. Others will come at night, another would come. But Sri Ramakrishna had to be there. He was not let to go away. For 7 days and 7 nights. Just imagine, it seems like 7 days story coming. How extraordinary for any being to be able to conduct in that way and experience the joy of singing God's name in that way for 7 long days, whole week. Now we say you will have to be quarantined for 7 days, home quarantine, hotel quarantine, hospital quarantine. They say 7 days. How will I do 7 days? It's too long. Better I don't go to travel. I cancel my ticket. I don't go quarantine. But Sri Ramakrishna 7 days. Nothing for him. All singing, no privacy, nothing there. Here you can sleep, you can read, you can watch TV, you can talk on phone. 7 days, but still you can't handle that 7 days of quarantine. And here Sri Ramakrishna was not just opposite of quarantine. 7 days you have to be with the crowd, sing the glory of God, dance in the street of the village, and the mart of joy was going on. It was overwhelming. He prayed to Divine Mother. Whatever Sri Ramakrishna prayed to Divine Mother Kali, everything came true. That's why when Swami Vivekananda said, please pray for me, so that my mother and sisters and brothers don't have food to eat, don't starve without having food. Please pray to mother. And Sri Ramakrishna said, then Swami Sri Ramakrishna, why should I pray? You go and pray. He said, no, if you pray, mother will listen. You see, that much Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath also had that. Sri Ramakrishna said something to the Divine Mother, Mother Kali will grant that. Then you know the story is Sri Ramakrishna. Why will I go? You can pray. Today is nice day, and whatever you ask will be granted. That he said. Whatever you ask will be granted. That was Sri Ramakrishna's assurance. One with Mother Kali, in divine incarnation, that all these small things prove. Who can otherwise say, you go and pray, mother willing, it will happen. He says, whatever you will pray, mother will grant assurance. Now he cannot pray, ask for the thing that he wanted to ask through Sri Ramakrishna. He asked for something else. Then, though he couldn't ask for food and clothing, now mother didn't give that. Then who gave? Which form of mother? Not in the temple sitting in the stone idol. But Sri Ramakrishna himself said, you will have no dearth of simple food and coarse cloth, simple cloth. That you will get, your family will not be deprived of that. Sri Ramakrishna himself could do it. He could have given that in the beginning. Why he had to ask him to go to Mother Kali? She will give you whatever you ask. He could give himself, Sri Ramakrishna. But that was all the divine play going on. These are all divine play. Fantastic drama goes on in the world. When incarnation comes, the play becomes still fantastic play happens. So enjoyable thing. Narendranath has to become poor, his father has to die, he has to suffer from poverty, and such a person getting BA degree in that time when there were the undergrads or graduates would be very, you could count in the finger. And there, Narendranath, so intelligent, so expert, and he doesn't give the job nowhere. There was no place that there was no extra people that they were sitting. Graduate was never sitting. We call in India the one who passes the BA, we call them graduate, and who passes does graduate here like the postgraduate, masters we call postgraduate. So graduate, undergrad we call the post graduate. So graduated person not getting all the fantastic drama going on of the divine play. So just enjoying the thing all through suffering and through knowledge and all this divine play going on with the big purpose. What is the purpose of all divine play? Not only Sri Ramakrishna, he brought Naren, he brought Holy Mother and all Brahmananda and other 15 disciples, all 16 together, and the devotees, Yam and Girish and all other Kalipada Ghosh, and the huge drama going on to re-establish the Dharma. So that Dharma becomes established for few centuries, and it gives light and joy and purpose of life to the people who are born in this world. Big thing going on. So that was the purpose, and that was done with the help of so many of his attendants, companions, whatever, apostles, whatever you call. So here, for 7 days, I had no privacy, whatever. Thereupon I said to the Divine Mother, Mother, I have had enough of it. Holy Mother, Divine Mother, when gives, Bhagwan jab deta hai na, chappar faad ke deta hai. He gives plenty, immensely. God can give. God has that power. Here also he asked for the experience. Now experience Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 7 days. You will have no respite from singing the glory of God and enjoying. You will be always surrounded by the people. There will be no lack of the people who will accompany you in singing day and night. And that was given, and Sri Ramakrishna was very satisfied and very happy. Mother, it's done. I have had enough of it. So these are all extraordinary things being shown, that not for ordinary human being or a holy man or saintly man or Siddha Purusha. This all extraordinary only incarnation can do. Hinting him that who I am, just understand. I am at peace now. I shall have to be born once more. Therefore, I am not giving all knowledge to my companions, with a smile. Suppose I give you all knowledge. Will you then come to me again so willingly? So he's talking like someone has something, and if he gives all the thing is given, and he has come to take. So all the things he has got what the other person had. And then why would he come to the person? He already got whatever the person could give, he has already given me. So all the things that Sri Ramakrishna says, I am not giving you everything. Something I'm keeping, otherwise you will not come to me. There is a fun, no? God and devotee have to be together. Otherwise, only God, what is the fun? Only devotee without God, no fun. God wants devotee. So he's not giving it, making this fun that I give you little and something remaining, he will come again to have that. So fully not given. Only he gave fully to Narendranath at the end of his life. Fully he gave. And he said, I have given you fully whatever I have, completely. And now I have become fakir. That was the time he said he gave fully. To him, he said, I have not given you everything. Otherwise, you will not come to me. So, that is the fun of this devotee and God relationship. As Yam used to feel, when could I go? It's written in the gospel. I used to feel, when can I go back again? I feel so much attracted, as if someone is pulling from Dakshineshwar to me. That was him feeling for Sri Ramakrishna. And what about Sri Ramakrishna? Sri Ramakrishna doesn't say about him. He used to get and he used to pull. There was the purpose. And for others, he said, oh, the Narendra has not come for many days. Oh, this Jogin is not coming. And he should made some, he had taken some money, I had given, he has not given of that. So, like that, he used to make some pretext and invite the people. He used to, he also wanted people to be devotees, to be pure soul people, to be there. So Sri Ramakrishna also used to be so happy when Yam came. When Yam came, he was meditating. Sri Ramakrishna used to come and see where he's meditating in the Skuti body, and he used to watch from outside. He's in deep meditation. That is so much of joy for these teachers. When Totapuri saw Sri Ramakrishna in Nirvikalpa Samadhi going immediately after he tried to make him go after sannyasa, and the Totapuri thought it will be Samadhi and it will break soon, it will come out. And Sri Ramakrishna was absorbed. 1 day passed, 2 day passed, 3 day passed, and Totapuri says, what is this magic? That person just after sannyasa can be immersed in Nirvikalpa Samadhi for continually for 3 nights and 3 days so quickly. This is something play of God. He couldn't understand. He didn't believe in Mahamaya, Divine Mother that time. What is this? It was not understandable for him. But he understood that Sri Ramakrishna is not ordinary person. And that's why he stayed back there for 11 months. He never stayed more than 3 days any place. But in Dakshineswar, he stayed so many months there, Tutapuri, and enjoyed the company of his own student in one sense, of his teacher who made him introduce the role of Divine Mother. When you are born as Divine Mother, even the incarnation of God is under the domain of the Divine Mother. And this Totapuri, Siddha Purusha, definitely you deny the power of Divine Mother, that will be your incomplete knowledge. You are giving up. That's why he said, when you measure the weight of a bale fruit, you have to measure the shell and the flesh and seed all together, then it becomes full whole. You give up this creation, this role of Mahamaya, and say only Brahman, the formless aspect is true, and this is all mithya, and you deny this, you are giving up the seed. It may not be important for you, but that makes the whole. Brahman is whole, Brahman is complete, Brahman is Purnam. That if you deny the Maya, then Purnam is not there. It is Apurnam. So you have to consider the Maya also when you have or you have come in the domain of Maya. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna experienced as Phului Shambhajar. I recognized you on hearing you read the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Footnote, a life of Chaitanya. Chaitanya Bhagavat is a book describing the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengali. So this is the thing Thakur Das has written this in something 16th century somewhere. There's another book on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very popular. It's called Chaitanya Charitamrit, written by another saint, Kaviraj, Krishnadas Kaviraj. He had written that book. In that book is Shikshastakam of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are Sanskrit verses also. But this Chaitanya Bhagavatam is purely Bengali. In Bengali it's written. That has Bengali and Sanskrit mixed, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then he said, I recognized you on hearing you read the Chaitanya Bhagavat. How did he recognize? He might have come. Perhaps he had written this EM was in another life or that. Who knows? And he might have written as the this Thakur Das as this book of Chaitanya Bhagavatam. When you were reading, I recognized you. What he recognized? That you are my own. The same substance. Now he's saying what relationship between him, the devotee, and God, the incarnation of God, Sri Ramakrishna, the same substance, like father and son. All of you are coming here again. What is again? Like in previous incarnation of God. You are again, all of you are coming who are the showing the who do the drama, divine play. When you pull one part of the Kalmi creeper, all the branches come toward you. Kalmi creeper is a mm, kind of a vegetation that is submerged in water. It spreads its branches, and a small piece you see, but the root is somewhere. All root is tagged. It spread the branches all over. So when you pull one branch, whole branches come. You couldn't recognize that the plant can be so much widespread, and whole branch comes. All are connected. All branches are connected together. Like that is, one was born in Kolkata, another was born in perhaps in Bihar, Chapra, and like that. Some people were born in Barasat and all that, but all are branches of that Kalmi creeper. Kolmi shark. It is even edible. The people make the greens, cook it as the green and eat this kalmi. Uh, all you are like the branch of kalmi creeper. All the branches come toward you when you pull one. So all are related. All are belong to oneness, one being. You are all relatives like brothers. Suppose Rakhal, Harish, and the others had gone to Puri, and you were there too. Would you live separately? How much is uniting the devotees you see together? And that's what is called Ramakrishna family. Why to talk about Sri Ramakrishna, that divine companions who come with him every age when the incarnation come in different form they come, but they come with him and set the wheel of dharma right. Dharma chakra is again rolled right because it tries to stop or deform because of the kala's time. This we have the theory of inertia. You roll one wheel on the earth, after some time it stops, and Newton says it is inertia, some friction, otherwise it go on rolling. Like that is the role inertia in the dharma chakra also. The message of dharma is also that also gets clogged, and something comes it doesn't function properly. Again, some the divine power has to come, divine incarnation has to come and oil the thing and re-roll the dharma chakra pravartana. It said about the Buddha also, he came to again restart the dharma chakra. Sri Ramakrishna also dharma sanstapana, punar sanstapana of the dharma, in a new way of the same dharma that is applicable for the present age. So he says, you are all relatives. How? Like brothers. All are brothers. You are the children of same divine being, though born in different family. All belong to God. And God Himself came, and all who were like the sun and its rays. So when sun is there, all rays that come from sun has to be around. And that's why he says, if we had gone to Puri and Harish and Rakhal is there, would you live separately? We all will be poor. So what I was going to say is, it is not only about that family. In here, we call it Ramakrishna family, the family of devotees. Sri Ramakrishna says, devotees have no other identity, no caste, no other identity of the wealth or power, nothing. They all become one when we come to Sri Ramakrishna, when we come to God in any form. That devotees have no caste. They don't have that identity of the worldly identity. I am a PhD, I am a professor, and you are a construction worker. That doesn't happen among the devotees. All devotees become brothers and sisters and brothers of America. All become immediately devotees of God, and all stood up and felt oneness with everyone, and all really felt that they are sisters and brothers. Otherwise, why applaud for 2 minutes? After hearing such brothers, dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, so many times it have been many times addressed. They were addressed before Swami Vivekananda. Sister, many others also did. It is not Swami Vivekananda saying first time sisters and brothers, and it was not the new address to the people in Parliament of Religions. Even in that very day, many others had addressed in similar language or same language. But No, they didn't clap anything, they didn't stand. But when Swami Vivekananda stood up and said, "Sisters and brothers of America," whole audience of 6,000 people stood up like a one man and started clapping in unison. Why this feeling? Why this change in the mood of the crowd who came from so many different places? They were all parliamentary religions. They had come from England, from Europe, from South America, from many places. They had, and the speakers were from Asia. Maybe there were some audience also from there, from Asian countries. But all they stood up as one person because they all felt that we're all sisters and brothers. We are all one. We belong to one family. All divisive thoughts, all other consideration, worldly consideration are all thrown to wind and all became one belonging to one Father. So we are all sisters and brothers. That feeling that Swami Vivekananda had so strongly, he felt that he, all our sisters and brothers, that it touched the soul of everyone. It was not in just in the words, but in the very feeling of Swami Vivekananda that came forth as the word in the form in the word as sisters and brothers, that touched the soul. Even without understanding why we are clapping this person who was not getting to speak, who had not never seen people dressed like that, a brown skinned person, and saying about some religion, Hinduism, what is that? They all the idol worshippers and all. But so much of power. This power is the power of realization. What you feel that comes out of you when it happens, it touches the heart of the people. And that feeling, sisters and brothers of the world, we also feel we are all brothers and sisters. We are also one family. I call it family of Sri Ramakrishna, call it family of God, call it the family of devotees, whatever you call. We all feel one. That's why it is so much joy to be in the company of the of the devotees. It's a pure soul. There is no other thought. There is no. When you start discriminating and judging devotees basis on the basis of worldly thoughts, you destroy all the joys of being with God. You become spiritually very low at the time. When you start thinking the devotee with some negative, you start judging the devotee with other points, other worldly thoughts. You just make thing the beautiful creation of art, you just tear it. So we have to be very careful not to judge the devotees other than the eye of devotees of God. Otherwise, you lose your own joy and peace and try to disturb the situation. So that we should be careful about that. Not thinking of anything other than they are the devotees of God. They have come to Sri Ramakrishna. Nothing, no other consideration. No other consideration. That we should be careful. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. Before you came here, you didn't know who you were. Now you will know. It is God who, as the Guru, makes one know. So, who I am, he says at one place, if we know three things, you have known everything. You have known the whole knowledge. What are the three things he said? He said, who I am, Sri Ramakrishna said, who you are, and what is our relationship. If you know these three, nothing else needs to be known. Nothing else remains to be known. That you are God, I am God's child, and I always belong to you inseparably. I always have to come. What is our relationship? The relationship is of sun and its rays. So that if you know, that you have known everything. So here it says, you didn't know who you were. So now you will know. So already him is knowing who he is, what is his role, what is his relationship with God, who is there as his guru, Sri Ramakrishna. And the Sri Ramakrishna says, it is God who, as the guru, makes one know. In case of Yam, it is God and the guru same. Yam was having God as guru because Yam always had God as guru. because M was the Parshad. He is the apostle of God all the time in all the incarnations. So that you will know. Then there is the story of that Nyangta told. Let me read that one. Then we'll close. So, how the Guru makes you know who you are. That story, Swami Vivekananda said this story little differently. He said about the sheep and flock of sheep and a lion. Here, Sri Ramakrishna, what he heard was a tigress, and the goat. So, and he always, Sri Ramakrishna's beauty is he always gives the reference from whom he learned that. He remembers and said, I learned it from that, I got this from this person. And he takes that and remembers and never is shy of giving credit to the person who told that. So, and his explanation is very nice. Let me read two paragraphs between 7 minutes. Nyangta is Totapuri. He didn't utter the name of his guru, Totapuri, Tota, and he used to say Nyangta, the naked one. Nyangta told the story of the tigress and the herd of goats. Once a tigress attacked a herd of goats. A hunter saw her from a distance and killed her. The tigress was pregnant and gave birth to a cub as she expired. The cub began to grow in the company of the goats. At first, it was nursed by she goats, and later on, as it grew bigger, it began to eat grass and bleat like the goats. Gradually, the cub became a big tiger, but still it ate grass and bleated. When attacked by other animals, it would run away, like the goats. One day, a fierce looking tiger attacked the herd. It was amazed to see a tiger in the herd eating grass and running away with the goats at its approach. It left the goats and caught hold of the grass eating tiger, which began to bleat and tried to run away. But the fierce tiger dragged it to the water and said, Now look at your face in the water. You see, you have the pot face of a tiger. It is exactly like mine. Next, it pressed a piece of meat into its mouth. At first, the grass eating tiger refused to eat the meat. Then it got the taste of the meat and relished it. At last, the fierce tiger said to the grass eater, What a disgrace! You lived with the goats and ate grass like them? And the other was really ashamed of itself, totally forgotten one's glory, and demeaned oneself as a goat, as a dependable, fearful being, without knowing one's true nature. And Sri Ramakrishna describes beautifully, it's very important, next paragraph. What is in the story of grass-eating tiger and the meat and the fierce tiger, what they represent in case of spiritual practice, spirituality. He said, eating grass is like enjoying woman and gold. That is what compared. You make yourself so lowly, you start enjoying the things of the world. Woman and goes, Kamini Kancana, he said, possession and the enjoyment of the things, senses, that becomes in all and be all of life, which is very flimsy joy compared to the joy of meditation, joy of spirituality, joy of repeating God's name. Those are much intenser joy compared to the joy of the worldly things, sense objects. So it is like eating grass, is that. Then to bleat and run away like a goat is to behave like an ordinary man. A spiritual man is not a worldly man, ordinary man in the sense of worldly man. A spiritual man has got the strength through his practice, spiritual strength. So his values are different. What he wants is different. He cannot behave like a worldly man. Going away with the new tiger is like taking shelter with the Guru. The Guru was so compassionate Vasantavalloka hitam charanta. So he does bring that person into its own fold and tries to show who you are, gives the identity, true identity of the person. Is the going away with the new tiger is like taking shelter with the guru, who awakens one's spiritual consciousness, who makes us know who we truly are. That is the guru. And recognizing him alone as one's relative. Guru is my relative, not the worldly person. He grows above the worldly ideas. To see one's face rightly is to know one's real self. How the story of tigress and the goat and the hunter, and the tiger attacking another tiger makes a spiritual allegory of a spiritual story of a disciple, guru, the instruction given, and the realization of the truth, taking the mind away from eating grasses, and the whole spiritual life of a spiritual person is contained in the story of tigress and goat, or in the language of Swami Vivekananda, lion and sheep. So beautiful. I don't know if Totapuri also said this, but the implementation Sri Ramakrishna is so wonderful in describing the Upama. They say Upama Kalidasa, the example, the allegory. Kalidas seemed to be excellent in doing that. But Sri Ramakrishna's allegory is also wonderful, how it beautifully explained everything in the story to the relationship between Guru and the disciple, and what Guru gives and what we get from Guru, what is coming out of the worldliness, what is enjoying the things, the worldly enjoyment of the sense enjoyment of the world, all said beautifully in that story Sri Ramakrishna did. So next week, we will have next Friday we'll have Uddhava Gita. Will begin the new book, and 1 week Uddhava Gita. Now another week will be the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. After the Uddhava Gita, then we'll continue with the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. If we are not yet in winter vacation, today is 8th. Today is 7th, and then. 7th, and then 14th and 21st. Yes, 21st we'll have again the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So next Friday is Uddhava Gita. Thank you very much for joining the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So I'm traveling to Chicago to meet Swami Ishatvanandaji there. And you like him, he has given wonderful talk in Uddhava Gita in Bengali. Maybe I'll get some help and some tips from him for what the Uddhava Gita I'm starting. And we meet again next Friday. And before that, if you also connect and attend on Sunday, this Sunday, day after tomorrow, we'll be meeting online. Please be with us. And if you want to visit in person, the government is still allowing about 50%, but it is better to be safe and be at home. If you have any doubt, here very few people come. But if you want to come for Sunday and meet the devotees, come to the shrine, do prayer a little, meditation, you are very much welcome to come with mask on and double vaccinated person. There's no problem from the government side. Only 5% can gather in a household, 5 guests or 5 persons altogether. But in the temple, we can gather many more. But of course, double vaccination and the mask on. So you're welcome to come to the temple on 9th, or to attend online on YouTube on Sunday, next day after tomorrow. Thank you very much. So that today we close our Friday scripture class, the class on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, with the closing chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnan Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmu. Thank you very much and good night to you all.